musicals that Mr. Storti directed, Flower Drum Song, My Fair Lady, Man on the Marsha, Camelot, Finnegan's Rainbow, just to name a few. In Fiddler on the Roof, of course, you'll recognize the Sabbath Prayer, the song Matinee for Tradition, and the last one is called True Life. And here's our own Tevia to talk, Sam.
I promised my wife I wouldn't tell any redneck stories. He's not here. Maybe just one. The story goes that if you've ever passed an entire funeral procession, you might be a redneck. And Paul Storti didn't always understand my redneck humor, but what he didn't really realize is that I actually did some of these things. At one point in time, my wife and I were in northern Minnesota, and we were on a straight highway, and there was this whole bunch of cars in front of me. I pulled out and passed, and there was 7 cars, and I got to the 5th one, and I realized all their headlights were on. My wife said, "My God, you're passing a funeral procession." Jeff Foxworthy doesn't have one on me as far as that one goes, anyway. But anyway, Paul put up with my rambunctious humor for all the years we worked together, and I guess that I have to say that I'm one of those guys that played brass in junior high school and college. And then when I got out of college, there wasn't any place to play. There wasn't a good place like this to perform with. So I kind of put it away, and I think I went about 30 years without playing. And then one of my wife's friends, Donna Elwell, told my wife that she played in this new community band that Paul Storti was starting up. She was a flute player. And she kind of told me about it. She said, "You know, it's convenient. It's like 5 blocks from my house. And they take all comers, and best of all, it's free." So I started up, and I've been with this band about 10 years now, and we've had a lot of fun. But through the years, I was always impressed with Paul. Incidentally, Paul was never too mean to me. I think he recognized talent in me. Anyway, Paul and I got to be good friends, and we went to a lot of concerts together, and I was always impressed at how many people knew Paul. Every concert we went to, somebody in the group would bring us backstage afterwards, and I kind of liked hanging around with him. But I thought this guy knows everybody, and I was becoming pretty impressed with Paul's knowledge and reputation and ability. And I started playing with other groups after I played for a while. And every group I was in, when they found out I played in this band, and would ask about Paul Storti. So he was well known everywhere. And one of the groups I got involved with was the Salvation Army band. And I thought, now, here's a place that won't know Paul Storti. And Paul was interested in that, and he said, "Let's get a concert together, and we'll have one rehearsal, and we'll have a concert with the Salvation Army band." So, as I said, I didn't think Paul would know anyone, and we went over to the Salvation Army. The next thing I know, Paul and the divisional band leader turned out to be old friends. They taught summer camp together for kids, so every place we went, really, all knew the people. And one time, one of the prestigious British Salvation Army bands was touring the country, and they had a concert in Minneapolis, and Paul and I went, and we arrived early, and sure enough, they took us back Salvation Army told them that Paul was coming. And he showed them the itinerary of the band. They only played like 10 pieces out of about 30 that were on that itinerary. And asked them if there was anything Paul particularly wanted to hear. And he noticed Wagner's Elsa's Procession to Cathedral on there. And Paul couldn't imagine how they could play that on the limited instrumentation that a British-style brass band would have. So he asked if he could hear that one. Sure enough, they played it in the concert. And Paul described to me all the orchestral parts as they were playing it that were being picked up by various brass instruments. So I got a first-hand description of who should have been playing that part, but they played it beautifully, so it sounded good. But anyway, Paul's wife, Carmen, and my wife got to be good friends too, and we had a lot of fun together through the 10 years or 12 years that I knew Paul, and our only regret is that we didn't get to know him sooner. Thank you.
Thank you.